Welcome to the world of Taboo!
The musical came about because I was approached by Chris Renshaw, and to be really honest with you, I mean, he came to me and said, I want to do a musical based on, partly on your book and partly on the story of Leigh Bowery, and I was kind of excited because it wasn't the sort of like, you know, Culture Club, you know, Boy George story, because that really didn't appeal to me at the time, because I'd just done 4 years of Culture Club touring and I was over it, and that's what really got me interested, the fact that I could give some of those people who are still around and some of the people who are no longer around, give them a voice, you know, and sort of show that, you know, how in a way we all influenced each other, and there was also little bits that we took from each other, and it was, you know, that's what excites me about the show.
Hi, I'm Julie.
I'm Dawn, and we've seen Taboo
184 times.
Hello everyone! I'm Philip, always the bride, tip of the groove. I'm wrong in all the wrong place. I'm one of those faces you'll never forget. Aren't you, Ed?
Philip's sort of quite smutty. Actually, I don't think I should tell you any stories about Philip's salon. I think they're smutty. They're too smutty for consumption.
He has the mind of kind of Freud and the personality of Pippi Longstocking.
I love playing Philip. It's the most fantastic part. I mean, it's everything in there for me. Comedy, serious moments. I get to go out in the audience and interact. The stand-up moments. It's just, you know, it's a brilliant role to play, and I love every minute of it.
The way Paul Baker did it was I came across as the most human person in the musical, definitely. Not that I am.
He doesn't want it to be too camp, that whole sort of like camp thing, and he likes it to be a bit madder and a bit more psychotic, as he calls it. So I think that's probably the way I've tried to portray him.
Where are we going? I've got some friends. Filthy squatters had sponging off the government. Now you're lucky. I might put you out for a night or two. Anybody ever told you about lovely boys for a big boy?
Paul Baker is one of the pod people. As soon as I woke up one day, there was this pod next to my bed, and then I looked at it with Paul Baker emerging. I thought it was nasty. And I was the pretty version. She came out and distorted.
Philip is just one of those things that happen, you know, like a sort of comet or something every sort of few hundred years.
I first met George. I was dancing around what is now called GAY, Got AIDS Yet. But anyway, in those days it was called Sundown. And it was a pisshole even then. Actually, I ran that as the Mud Tub years later, but then it was fabulous, of course. And George was staring at me, admiring me from the audience with this girl who was like a token girlfriend, sick. She went mad anyway. But not as mad as him, though, or myself. And so, I don't know, we started talking, I saw him watching me, which I like, and then we started talking in the bogs later, and I kindly gave him my phone number, and he called, and we became friends, a friendship based on shallow fashion.
Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?
Philip came down to the workshop and, you know, sat there grimacing at the actors, making them feel really uncomfortable, annoying the writer. Everybody hated.
Believe me, I've had a lot of him. I've written down so many things that they have altered in that musical that you don't know about, untold things. I wrote lists and lists, and I would say about 80% at least has been altered, plus all the one-liners I've given them, and it's made a big difference, but that's my opinion.
One good thing that came out of that was, he said, the guy playing Trojan, which was what Ewan was doing, is you. And I was like, really? I'd never even crossed my mind. And he was like, no, he is definitely you. He reminds me of you when you were 19. And the more he went on about it, the more I sort of started to study Ewan. And then when I finally saw him in the drag, I was like, oh my God, he's got my nose.
I know everything about everything. Philip Shakespeare.
George was around for the whole thing, so he's been in my life for about 2 years now. So coming on and doing this here was relatively easy. I mean, he hasn't told me how to play it or how to do what I should be doing. He kind of was there to help with the relationships that he had with Marilyn and Philip and all that lot. It's been really easy. I mean, George is mental, isn't he? So as long as you can take that, you're absolutely fine.
when I watch that character, it's not me. If I looked and see myself acting like that, I'd kill myself.
Beautiful child in razor heels, stop chasing to the road. All the boys sing out together, and the mirror soon.
It's caricature.
I mean, I don't know what he's like. I mean, I have no real clue. I have no real, opinion of what he's like or whatever. But by all accounts, he's a fucking nightmare.
I don't think I'm that camp.
To be honest, I kind of avoided him because, if somebody comes up to you and says,
dances all that, like that. It's like, ugh.
Hello, Marilyn. Oh my God. Say hello to George O'Dowdy. Oh dear. O'Dowd, actually.
I was with Philip when I met George, but Philip and George weren't speaking at the time.
We had one of our long enduring quarrels.
There was kind of like a vibe between me and George. We wanted to speak to each other, but there was so much peripheral shit going on between him and Philip that our burgeoning friendship got kind of, it had to develop outside the confines of the Philip Salon. What's the word? Philip Salon nuclei.
And then it was like Marilyn was going, I've just been speaking to good friend George. Boring. Anyway, hoping it would wind me up, which it did.
I met Marilyn when he was like 15 or so. He was a little boy, really. And he used to come to the Blitz, and I used to actually let him stay at my house. And all my house was just full of powder. And sort of, that time with the wigs and when he was really properly Marilyn, And, yeah, she used to come along and always make quite a lot of drama.
What's she know about drama? Silly bitch. I have not got a peanut under my buffon. Marilyn. 1013.
Marilyn, no, I don't. They got on TV and he goes, Philip Salon is ugly, ugly, ugly. But it wasn't a joke. He just kept saying it. And the more I saw it on TV, the more it annoyed me.
No, I don't dislike Philip. He's the one that's got the problem, not me. You know what I mean? I like him. He's wildly entertaining.
I do enjoy his company. I think he's a real laugh. He's funny. He's like Benny Hill in drag.
I don't fall up with anybody.
Somebody once said to me about Marilyn, once he latches onto you, he will never let go.
He still knows how to get money out of me.
Poor Marilyn. Is he still on drugs, or what's his trouble? What's he on?
Marilyn is supposed to be the sort of dark Boy George, the sort of sexual Boy George, the more androgynous Boy George, and he sort of enlisted Paul Kaplan, who managed Hazy Fantasy, to make that happen.
Career? What career?
I hear you on the radio.
There was a bit of jealousy, because I felt that, he was trying to capture what I was doing rather than do something of his own.
I wouldn't be able to function if it was all like competing and all that. I don't like all that.
So yeah, there was lots of petty bitching, and I used to kind of do things to sabotage him and stuff. I remember this one time where I found out that he was going to wear a kilt on some TV show, and I was doing Muck and Parkinson, and I went out and bought kilts for the whole band, which is a bit pathetic, really. I mean, now I just think, why did I do that? But you just do those things when you're sort of 20.
Is that what I think it is?
Not be normal.
That's Steve Strange, the man who single-handedly created the New Romantics.
What about Steve Strange?
It's a really fun character to play because there's all of that bitchiness which you get to unleash every night on the unsuspecting public.
I'm definitely not coming in.
Because he was like, when he was doing the Blitz, it was like he was too kind of, it's like he was lauding at the door like, oh, I'm running the Blitz.
All up in hand. The wet gargoyle springs to mind.
The only thing that I didn't like was the fact that they played me like a Welsh coal miner with a very deep Welsh accent, which I'm proud to be Welsh, but I've never ever had a Welsh accent.